Beat Radio, brought to you by the Hard Truth Distilling Company in Brown County, Indiana.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, it's time!
3 on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Ayler's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, from the Hard Truth Studios, here's Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Wednesday. Sir Rick Bozich from WDRB.com and the Chicago White Sox PR team joins us now. How are you, sir? How are the Sox?
They're doing okay. They're 2-3. They blew a game last night. Last year they started 3-22, so they're slightly ahead of pace.
As I said, I sent you a text last week that said, hey, the good news is they're expecting to win more games. But the bad news is they thought they were going to be the worst team in 35 years. But that's what I love about sports. Even professional sports doesn't always go the way people think it's going to go. That's why right now when I see all of these, someone put out something about Indiana was picked to be an underdog in football in 5 of their games next year. I'm like, well, first of all, that's an absolute joke. Against who? How do you know who's going to be what? You don't know anything about anybody. That's one thing I have learned. Until the games start, you're not going to have an understanding about these teams, because look at Kansas basketball. I think that they were ranked number 1, if I'm correct, and how'd that end up? So the portal has changed everything. These preseason top 25s are a joke. They should be banned. I think that is just a joke. But yeah, man, I hope the Sox get it going. That would be fun to see. I saw somewhere that Tim Kirchin said he thought he was expecting a lot out of Eli De La Cruz and the Reds, and I'm like, don't put that kind of pressure on them, man. They don't need it.
Yeah, didn't they get shut out? I guess, was it last night? I don't know. The night before? I don't know.
I know the first game they gave up a 9th inning lead.
Yeah, opening day they lost. Then they gave up. The bullpen gave it up. It's a long. The only thing that I'll be comfortable predicting is the Dodgers will be in the playoffs. That's the only thing I'll be confident predicting. I don't know if they won last night, but they were 5 or 6-0 to start the season.
Yeah, well, the Dodgers are like the New York Yankees of baseball now.
Yes, they are. They're the most well-positioned, economically fortified team in baseball. No question about it.
Big old fat payroll. Yeah, they've got it all going on. I have not been able to follow. How many games have they played so far?
They won last night. They beat the Braves. They're 7-0, and the Braves are 0-6. So
I cannot believe that MLB is not. Oh, there it is. Just wanted to pull that up. I haven't been able to follow my Reds just yet. It's too early in the season, but there's all kinds of stuff coming up. I've talked about the Chipotle Nationals are going on. I don't even think about this stupid Crown tournament. I haven't even given it one thought. Not because I'm boycotting it or anything. It's just it's not in my mind. It started too late. I don't understand. There's no conflicts. Why not just go? You have different teams, play it on different days. But I think the late start, maybe I'm wrong, but I have not been following it personally.
The only game that I followed at all was I saw. Yes, I didn't follow it. I just saw the score. Was it since Cincinnati beat DePaul, and that was only because I was looking to see if JJ Traynor was still playing. Former Louisville player was still playing for DePaul, and he's already gone in the portal, so he didn't play in that game. And so a lot of these teams that are there are
that's another reason.
Not their full roster. Their portal guys aren't there, so I don't see how it could possibly make any money. Why would anybody in Las Vegas want to go watch it? Why would fans of these teams want to take off work unless they just want a Vegas trip to go watch it? And you can have a lot more fun in Vegas doing something else than that.
Yeah, you're going to go out there and watch crappy basketball, or these are the crappy teams that couldn't make it in to the very end of where the crappy teams are. The NCAA are. So yeah, that
makes no sense.
I don't see that.
I know that Nebraska and USC are in it also because they're the Big Ten teams. That's all.
Yeah, I know Nebraska won their first game. I did know that. And I haven't seen it since to see where they are. I did see Val Kilmer died. Daggone it. That sucks. But oh well, if it was that important, it would be more available. But now we've got your Louisville boys just picked up Mr. Ryan Conwell. What a great pickup out of the portal that was.
Yeah, they've had a tremendous week. Earlier in the week, they got a guard who's ranked even higher than Conwell in some of the portal rankings. Adrian Woolley from Kennesaw State. He was the leading freshman of the year in Conference USA. So that gives those two guys and Michael Brown, who's a McDonald's All-American. Louisville's got a dynamite backcourt for next season, probably as good as any in the country. So they're on their way.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is, but Pat Kelsey is, he's kind of like Tom Izzo. He's not real tall. How tall is Pat Kelsey? You've been around him a lot.
I don't know, 5'9", 5'8".
So, and I'm only saying that because, man, nothing is holding him back. Nothing is stopping him from being successful. When you see him talk, he's just a normal, down-to-earth guy, comfortable, confident. I mean, he was such an unbelievable get for Louisville.
Yeah, he did a great job this year. I mean, they went 18-2 in the ACC. I think they went from 19-game improvement, 8 wins to 27 wins. Beat Clemson, had a really good year. And now he's got a lot of holes to fill, but he's off to a really good start getting those two guys. And Conwell, obviously, both these guys they picked up are 40% three-point shooters, so it's obvious that that's a priority with him. So to get two of the best three-point shooters out of the portal, tremendous start for Pat Kelsey. So we'll see what else they get, but they got more guys to get, and I'm sure they will. It's just getting started in the portal. I saw that Mackenzie Mbako was visiting Kentucky today.
I saw that as well. That'll be interesting. What are your thoughts? You've been around Mark Pope. You've seen Mackenzie Mbako, great shooter, but boy, lacks in defense. I think his motor has a governor on it. It seems so.
Yeah, it's real hit and miss. I think Pope is a strong enough personality that he'll convey the message that there's a certain culture here that is going to be adhered to. And if you can buy into that, get on board. If you don't think that's for you, then you probably need to look elsewhere. Since we don't ever really get to talk to the IU players or didn't get to, I don't really know enough about Mbako to know whether he would be interested in doing that or not. But I agree with you. He can do a lot of things, but there's a lot of things he either doesn't do or won't do. And defense is near the top of the list.
And that brings up, well, obviously, why wasn't, well, you don't know the answer to this question, but you would think Mike Woodson would have used him in some form or fashion, even though he was not big on the 3-point shot. It just seemed like there was never a great integration with Mackenzie Mbako. And I guess everything because it all ran through the middle, but it's like you can't just be that one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this. His skill set was too similar to Renew and what was the big Ballo, that they didn't really fit well together as a group. So he needs to go somewhere where, it's a better fit for him stylistically. Frankly, I was surprised that he came back for a second year last year in many ways. But when Renew is down to what, Michigan and Auburn, did I read? Miami, there's 2 other ones, maybe I don't know. I can't remember them all. There's so many guys in the portal. Caleb Banks, I heard, was visiting Purdue.
Is that right?
That's what I heard.
I haven't seen it, but I don't doubt it. That's it. It is amazing to see his development. I mean, he went to Tulane and got better, got more minutes, and that's what it takes.
To play 30 minutes a game, yeah.
And that's what it takes. And these guys don't get that. And if you don't, I guess they go to a place thinking they're going to play, no matter where it is, don't get to play, and then realize, all right, well, I need to do this. So they've kind of wasted a year in doing that. And I think of he's the quarterback that committed to Indiana this year that was committed to Ball State, decommits to Ball State to go to Indiana. And I'm like thinking, what a wasted year, dude. You have no chance of ever. I don't think you'll ever see the field in anything other than a mop-up role because of Fernando Mendoza with 2 years of eligibility remaining. And then right behind him is Alberto Mendoza. So I think that they're going to end up following each other just like they did in high school. And he could have gone to Ball State, got a year, maybe 2 of experience, and then transferred. But I guess an opportunity to go to a Big Ten school, one like Indiana, just went to the college playoffs. You can look at it. You're going to get better coaching. So I don't know. Who am I?
Maybe he's just a competitor who wanted the challenge, and they convinced him.
And boy, you would sure love that.
He would want, that he would get a chance. Fernando Mendoza might have the kind of season this year that he could go pro after 1 year. So maybe he feels like he can compete for the job in another year. And we all know in college football, most teams end up playing 2 guys because somebody's going to get hurt. You hope it doesn't happen, but it frequently does.
Well, it just happened to Indiana. They just lost a wide receiver for the season.
That was a big loss yesterday. I saw that Mr. Morris from Michigan, who was going to be the starting slot receiver, gets a non-contact, probably just running a route or whatever, and his knee gave out. So that's a big loss.
Teddy Bridgewater.
I'll have to find somebody in the second part of the portal maybe to replace him.
Yeah, and that'll be there without question. And so they're fortunate that happened now and not later. Not that you ever want to see that happen. That's terrible. Ryan Conwell again. Oh, I've been telling people they've got to relax on these numbers that they keep seeing because I do not believe them. But Laurie ask him if Conwell got $4 million. I find that hard to believe.
I had never heard 4 million. The number I heard last week was 2 million. So who knows?
Yeah. Whenever I hear a number, I think, well, either cut it in half or cut a third off it at the very minimum. And so, yeah.
Yeah, 2 million is a lot of money for one player.
Well, hell yeah, it is. I don't think that an IU player up until this point had received that, but that will change this season without question.
Yeah, I had heard the one speculation was earlier that the Owen Freeman kid from Iowa, who's going to Creighton, I heard he was getting 2 million. So I don't. Maybe that is the top of the market now, 2 to 2.5 million. I'm not sure.
And until the NCAA is able to get a cap on this yearly ability to transfer, it's going to continue to drive the market up, which is great for players. And I'm not trying to cut them, but it makes it so much adds expense to every school because now you've got your recruiting has doubled. Your recruiting efforts have to double. You have to hire more people to keep up with the stinking portal. The portal is going to become, I said earlier, it's its own entity now, but you're going to have your own complete portal division, which might be the biggest division of a program that there is. And
not just for men's basketball, but you probably need one for women's basketball. You need one for football. And you know, if you're going to be competitive like IU wants to be in swimming and men's soccer and a couple of other sports, you probably need to have somebody who's got their eye in the portal in all those sports.
I am amazed. Todd Yeagley has continued to succeed at the level that Indiana soccer has succeeded at through this transfer portal era. They have not missed. They have not, dropped a bit. They are the same competitive, high-level elite program year in and year out, and he does it with a core group of regional players in addition. But the fact that he has been able to continue that, I know we're talking a different sport, but it doesn't matter. Soccer is big business other than in America. So I'm really, really surprised he's been able to keep his level of elite play up.
Yeah, the bigger challenge for IU soccer has been that so many other schools now are loading their lineup with foreign players.
Please do not mention Morehead State to me. I think that they should be kicked out of
soccer.
soccer.
Vermont won this year. I think Vermont won the men's championship, and Marshall's the one that has
Marshall. That's who I'm thinking of. Marshall.
Yeah, it was all
I
German players and Brazilians and Argentinians and England. I mean, but they're not. That's everywhere, Jim. That's everywhere. I mean,
I think that you should be just like the European Basketball League. I think you should have a limit of foreign players that you can have on your roster.
I agree, because I think most of these kids anyway that are foreign players are older and more mature, and they played higher level of soccer overseas than they have here, and it's obviously working out for them because those schools are winning.
Where is a school like Marshall getting the money for these?
Great question. I don't know. West Virginia, though, I think after Marshall started having success, West Virginia, who's their rival this year, followed the blueprint, and I'm pretty sure they were ranked number 1 part of the year. So it's definitely becoming a thing where everybody's loading up on foreign soccer players. Smith's not leaving Painter. Who said that he was?
You know how the crap out there is. People thinking, oh, he's going to go test. No, I've said it over and over. He will not leave Purdue. I don't care. Somebody could come in, I think, with an NIL offer, $1 million higher than what he's making right now, and he would turn it down. I honestly believe that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, he's got a chance to go down as an iconic player at Purdue, and if you leave after
the state of Indiana,
you walk away from that, and he's going to be down there with Rick Mount and Billy Keller and Joe Barry Carroll and on, Zach Eady, Troy Lewis, Robbie Hummel, all those, the great players in Purdue, Russell Cross, I can't name them all. They've had so many of them, but he'll be in the record book everywhere. I would be shocked if Braden Smith left Purdue. He's got a tremendous relationship with Matt Painter. They're going to have a really good team next year. I mean, don't they have almost everybody back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, his core players. Trey Kaufman-Renn going to be a senior?
Yeah, he's back.
Wow. So
Lawyer's back.
So that means lawyer. Yeah.
Heidi's back.
And,
CJ Cox is back.
Now, didn't he lose one of his Will Berg to
Berg
the portal?
left, yeah, he didn't play that much.
He still has another gigantoid over on the bench, I believe. And if not, he'll find another one.
The kid who got hurt was actually looking pretty good early in the year. And then they got a 6'11" guy out of the portal this week from somewhere out west.
Yeah, Indiana, it's going to be interesting because Indiana's offense is going to be one that I think Indiana fans are going to be very happy to watch. It's going to be much more modern, going to get up the floor a little bit. They're going to shoot the ball. They're going to play defense. They're not going to run things through the paint. I am interested to see how Darren DeVries is going to deal with the quote-unquote big man situation. It would be nice, boy, if you could land somebody like a Danny Wolf. To me, that is what a modern, successful, elite college basketball team could look like.
Yeah, Problem is there aren't many of them out there. And there's another guy who's killing in the portal, Dusty May.
Imagine that.
They've already got two pretty good players, I think, out of the portal. Yesterday was the big kid from Illinois. Johnson is his name?
Oh, yeah, Mortez Johnson, yeah, one of my favorite. He was a freshman, and before he got hurt, and that's part of what Illinois. I really believe that had he not gotten hurt, Illinois would have been able to do more than what they did. But yeah, boy, that's a great pickup because he's a vicious forward and can get some damage.
They got a guard too, though. Although their guard Donaldson went in the portal, so they also picked up a guard. So I got to look it up who it is. But yeah, Dusty's doing okay.
It'll be interesting to see when Darren DeVries starts pulling in the names. Conor Enright is one that visited recently, and well, I think he's on a visit. Was it yesterday? I guess.
Yeah,
I get him confused. There's so many.
And Josh
Dix yesterday as well, and so both of those guys, and he already has Tucker DeVries. I'm going to go watch Trent Sisley play tonight up at Hamilton Southeastern. Yeah, the Chipotle Nationals begin tonight. Those games are available on the ESPN family, by the way. But
is this up in Fishers?
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, it seems like it's a million miles away now, and because it's on the far northeast side of Indianapolis.
Is it at Fishers High School? Or
yeah,
is it at
Hamilton Southeastern High School.
Okay, all right.
They don't play until 6:00.
This is This is like the
Chipotle Nationals with the top 8 teams, 11 McDonald's All-Americans in this tournament, which. You had the McDonald's All-American game last night, but I think the majority of those guys do not play until Thursday. There are 2 games tonight. Trent Sisley's Montverde squad opens up play at 6, and then there's a game at 8, and then more games following tomorrow. So, but yeah, 11 McDonald's All-Americans in there. The Boozer brothers, obviously the son of Carlos, but had AJ Moye on yesterday, and I always love when I have AJ on because
was he at the McDonald's game?
No, he was at the state finals over the weekend though.
Oh, okay.
Got this. That's my. There you go, right there. I was there for that moment. You were too, I'm sure, probably.
Yeah, I was not. 40 was there. I was actually in Syracuse with Kentucky.
Greatest. That's my second favorite sports photo of all time. I tell AJ, he was on with me yesterday. I tell him all the time that, dude, if that was me, that would be on wallpaper in every room of my house. And he did say that he was trying to get it into a big poster made for himself. Now, my favorite photo of all time is right there. Another someone close. There's Muhammad Ali.
That's May 25th, 1965, I think, Lewiston, Maine.
It's just one of the great. I love that. I've always loved that photo. The Louisville lip, the Louisville native. Hey, we've got to take a quick break. We've got the great one, Sir Rick Bozich from WDRB.com. When we come back, we've got more basketball to talk about as the portal has gone wild. Coaches are moving around. New Big Ten coaches next season. You'll see some different types of play. And who knows what else. We're back with more from the Hard Truth Distilling Company Studios. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company Studios on this Wednesday, joined by the great Sir Rick Bozich from WDRB.com, whom you should always be following for great coverage of all things in sports, but especially college football, college basketball, the Kentucky Derby, which is not that far away. Mercy. It's crazy. We get all this. It leads right into it. AAU stuff. And then boom, you got the Kentucky Derby. Followed right behind that is the Indianapolis 500. We're very, very, very fortunate. I mean, we are sports elitists in this area. We're sports snobs. Huh. I mean, when I claim that Indianapolis is the best sports, and I know Louisville thinks that they are a great sports city, but Indianapolis is the greatest sports city in America, in the world for that matter, in my opinion, just because of the variety of things and the proximity of where they are. But the whole region, we're very, very fortunate.
I mean, Indianapolis is elite. I was up there last weekend when Kentucky played Tennessee, and you had a regional this year. You got a Final Four next year. You got the state championships that are played there in town.
Chipotle Nationals.
You got
Division II and
NFL
3 national
team.
championships now, I think.
You got an NFL team. You got an NBA
team.
NIT. You got
getting ready to get an NHL team.
Really?
I believe they're getting closer and closer to getting an NHL team, I believe.
Will they play in Gainbridge?
Great question. No idea where. In HL, they might build their own. I guess it couldn't. Can it be an outdoor? When is their season?
NHL hockey?
No, I'm sorry. Soccer.
Oh, MLS.
Too many initials, too many acronyms.
Yeah, MLS is outside. Yeah, they are on the brink of getting one of those. Like Nashville has one, I think, or is getting one. Cincinnati has one.
That will eliminate Louisville from getting one. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, Louisville's in the same league that Indianapolis is in right now. The situation changed between the cities 50 years ago. They were fairly close, in terms of what they offered in terms of sports menu. And this is when Richard Lugar was the mayor of Indianapolis, they became more aggressive and assertive. And, the Pacers made it into the NBA. The Colonels didn't. Then in the 84, whenever it was, they built the dome and they got the Colts away from Baltimore. And since then they've gone from, Market Square Arena to Gainbridge, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they go somewhere in between, or did it?
No,
was it straight?
No, it went straight from what was?
They've already gone from the RCA Dome to Lucas Oil Stadium. They've had a Super Bowl. They've had Final Fours. They used to have the big tennis tournament. It's the state capital.
Landing the NCAA.
Somebody explained to me a long time ago, one of the big differences is that in Indianapolis is the state capital. And because the legislature and politicians meet there, they want to see Indianapolis do well. And in Kentucky, Louisville is not the state capital. Frankfort is, and it's closer to Lexington. And there's a lot of people in the state that are not as excited about Louisville having nice things. Like, it's an amazing thing to me if the Kentucky State high school football, girls or boys basketball, are not played in Louisville.
They've been played in like every city in the state almost.
They've moved the girls around to different places, whether it's Western Kentucky or Lexington or whatever. The state baseball tournament isn't played here. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they've let it, because of where they're located as well. They've let it slip away because they are dead smack in the center of Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Nashville, and St. Louis. I mean, you don't even have to mention Chicago, Columbus, but they're in the middle of a diamond of major metropolitan cities that they actually could have been the bright star, but and in
the 70s, the movers and shakers in this town are more interested in the arts and other things. They weren't interested in sports. They thought it was more important to have Actors Theater and the Kentucky Center for the Arts and ballet and opera and all that stuff, and not have major league sports teams. And it's never really taken off. And Nashville has even been more hyper aggressive than Indianapolis recently. I mean, they do have the NHL. They do have the Titans, and they've already built one stadium, and they're getting ready to tear it down and build a dome so they can have the Final Four and they can have the Super Bowl.
Dana Jones, how are you, sister? The crossroads of America. Exactly. It's and Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino just really was not going to have an NBA team in,
No, he
in
wasn't.
Louisville.
No, he wasn't.
And I'm not saying that was the team to have. I think
It was the Hornets.
because, well, but what I'm saying is I'm not saying that basketball was the type of team that they needed to have because they have such a huge affinity for UofL basketball. And, basketball is liked in Kentucky. Pro basketball isn't like that much in Kentucky. It's a college basketball state. Not to say it couldn't become that, but maybe, and football was probably too big, but baseball, that may have worked. Or what do you think the best pro team would have been? Basketball? Would it have been basketball or football?
Yeah, I think it would have been basketball. I mean, the Colonels were popular. I wasn't living here then, but I hear stories about how they were popular. They were
they were
top.
They were
teams
also
in attendance.
they were also pretty good. You had Dan Issel and Artis Gilmore and Louis Dampier. Yeah.
I think
they
it
were
would have been
competitive. That's when you're right.
It would have had to be marketed properly where you try to get fans to come here from Lexington as well as other parts of the state, maybe pull occasional fan from Cincinnati. I don't know. But the one thing it would have been is it could have been something the entire state embraced. And, now it's not, you're either Kentucky or Louisville, you're Western Kentucky. And it's always, there's no like unified team. Everybody in Indianapolis can get behind the Colts for the most part, right? I mean, they do.
Yep.
It's not that way here in terms of
Indianapolis became a gigantic football town. Pro football. I mean, and that helped once you get good. Well,
and
that helps.
Manning.
Yes, that helps everything. So without question. Getting back to basketball a little bit, Josh Dix, another one of the players visiting Indiana, Iowa shooting guard that he already had a stop at Illinois, Kansas, and Creighton, and as well as Ben McCollum giving him his pitch. But I have a pretty good, and there's a relationship previously with Josh Dix and Darren DeVries, but I would be hard pressed. Josh Dix is not staying at Iowa. He's not going from 80 points a game to 50. And with the relationship, I'd be kind of surprised Indiana doesn't land Josh Dix.
I don't know. I don't know if they will or not. I mean, I know that Enright seems to be the first one that people think is going to come. We'll see. I mean, I would think there'd be some kind of announcement soon about staff and a few players start to commit by. Most people say the big date is April the 7th because of the House settlement, and you have a chance to get in on the old NIL money then instead of the new way it's going to be parceled out. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they're saying, and I think it'll heat up. I think doesn't a dead period start though soon, like once the teams get to the Final Four?
This week, yeah. I forget the day, but yeah.
You can still talk to people. They just can't visit or you can't visit them, but I'm sure – it sounds like there's DeVries, Norton, and Adams, 3 coaches right now. I'm sure they're working the phones around the clock trying to, figure out who they can get, who they should get, how it all fits together. Who knows whether there's any high school players. There's a few that I know there's some guys who've decommitted from schools where coaches have left, whether any of those guys are in play. And you mentioned before,
you've got Flory Badunga at Kansas, and I mentioned him because there's a relationship with Drew Adams, a deep relationship with Drew Adams, and there's been no other schools mentioned about him that I'm aware of just yet. Auburn
is supposed to be the team to beat, from what I've read, because they did a really good job. They almost got him out of high school at Kokomo. I don't know if Badunga's a player or not. They'll have 13 players before next fall comes. I know that people want to know the answers right now. It'll all shake out.
It'll fall into place. There's no question. What do you fill the roster with 15, or what do you do with those other 2 spots? There's 15 scholarships available.
I would not myself, because you're only going to play 8. So then you'd have.
But
7.
you're not going to have those walk-ons to fill in the practice roles.
I guess a couple of them could be former walk-ons who in the old days would have been walk-ons. I just think
give them a scholarship and a token NIL deal.
I just think in these days it's really hard to keep that many guys happy who are really scholarship players who think they should be playing. You're going to play 8 or 9, so that means you're going to have 6 or 7 not getting to play and hearing from their friends, how come you're not playing? If you went somewhere else, you'd be playing. You believe how bad that guy played last night and you still didn't get a chance? I don't think that crazy. Is that a fact? Jonathan Powell's going to UNC?
I do not know. I'm just putting it up there. That's why
he's the kid who played with Cups in high school. And the guy that Dusty May got was Elliot Cadow, the point guard. He transfers from North Carolina to Michigan.
Is his middle name Skittle?
Yeah.
Oh, mercy. Ba-da-ba. Malik Renew has told On Three's Joe Tipton, who will be with us on Friday, by the way, that he is down to 5 schools. John Calipari's Arkansas, Auburn with Bruce Pearl, Miami, the former
Hometown.
Money Machine, USC, which, hey, I'd take a trip to the West Coast, and Dusty May in Michigan. Boy, that would be how would the irony, and it's going to happen. We've already had let's see, Jordan Geronimo. Has there been anybody else that I can think of that has come back?
It's in football. There have been some IU guys go to Purdue, or what the 2 guys went to Michigan on the national championship team, AJ Barner and
the quarterback. But in basketball, it just seems weird. For whatever reason, it just seems different. Especially with someone like Malik Renew.
Fans are closer to the floor and you're not wearing a helmet and they can actually see them and yell at them.
Yeah. And especially with Renew, who was there for 3 years. So you got that going for you, which is nice. And then you've got Tucker DeVries, of course, which is he'll be signing up. They've got to go through all the process stuff. And I still don't think that Darren DeVries wants his first signing to be his son. It sounds like, oh yeah, it's easy. So I think he would rather get someone like Josh Dix or Conor Enright in the fold. And you've also got Trent Sisley coming in, but he's a freshman. I don't know how much you're going to really expect from Trent in his first season, but we'll see. See him tonight. Looking forward to that.
Are those games up on TV?
Yes, they are on. Like today, those games might be on. They're all on ESPN Family. Today's might be on like the ESPN. No, I think they're on.
Oh, they're on ESPN. Okay,
like ESPN. The remaining games are on ESPN2, and then the championship is on ESPN.
Okay, well,
so
I'll have to stay abreast of that and see how different guys play.
Plenty of good coverage. What is up next for you?
I'm just looking forward to watching the Final Four this weekend. It's got 4.
Who do you have winning it?
I had Auburn before. I think I've had Auburn beating Alabama. Alabama's out, so I think I've got 2 of the Final Four. I've got Houston and Alabama. I didn't have Duke and I didn't have Florida. I had Florida losing. I had St. John's and Alabama in the other 2 spots. So what about you?
I've got 3 out of the 4 in the Final Four. I did not have Duke. I was not a Duke believer until they beat the ever-loving crap out of Alabama, which I did not have Alabama going, but I did not expect that. I'm a Duke believer now, at least, but I had Florida winning it. I have Florida winning it. And I'm not going to change from that. I've got Florida to win it all. And I can't remember who they would be playing though on that side of the bracket. It might be Auburn.
Florida plays Auburn in the early game, and Duke plays Houston in the nightcap.
And I hate to mention it, but because it means nothing to me. But and I'm not saying that should, but it's like when you say, "Oh, you're the first African American coach to do this." 3 Jewish coaches in the Final Four. I think it's you talk about it because it's just something that hasn't happened to my knowledge very often or not. And it's great for, I guess, if you're Jewish. I just see him as coaches.
Bob Kravitz wrote a column about it. What it meant to him. He's Jewish. What it meant to him growing up. dreaming about, becoming something in basketball to see three Jewish coaches get there. And he talked about how it would make his mom excited.
Wait, but he talked about hoping that he would do something in basketball.
Maybe when he was real little.
I hope so, because he's on with us tomorrow, and I cannot wait to say, wait a minute, you know how tall you are, right?
We all have those dreams when we're little kids.
I cannot believe you didn't play basketball, my friend.
I played until my junior year, and then I was unceremoniously cut from the team.
Oh,
I was big, but I was slow.
Well, there's a lot of guys getting it done with that same attribute.
Yeah, I needed a personal trainer, and I needed somebody to be on my rear end, so I'd be out shooting shots instead of watching White Sox games.
Well, you got that going for you. Well, enjoy the day, brother. Hope the White Sox bring you a win.
Supposed to get rained out today. Are you guys getting rain up there?
It's going to be 80, and it's going to be 40 on Monday.
It's supposed to rain like most every day for the next 4 or 5 days here. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, not looking forward to it.
We're going to get like one forecast had us getting 10 inches of rain in like a week.
I've seen that very thing, man. I'm getting the boat right now. I'm going to the getting the life jacket. Rick Bozich from WDRB.com. Love you. Appreciate you, my friend.
Thanks, Jim. Bye-bye.
Hey, you betcha. Thank you. Hey, thanks to each and every one of you. You are the best. We couldn't do this without you. Back tomorrow again to do this. Jamie Shaw, national basketball writer from On 3 with us, among others. Bob Kravitz, of course, Coach Shannon as well. And we'll get to it. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.